What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another episode on Futbol Asada. Today we're going to be talking about Santi Gimenez and his current situation at Feyenoord. Will he leave? Hopefully he does. But before we get started, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, hit the post notifications to be informed every week when we post. And like I said last week, make sure to get us to 2.5 thousand subscribers. We're only like less than 200 away to win a Mexico 1998 jersey or this Peacock one. We're going to be giving away 2 jerseys to 2 lucky winners once we reach 2.5 thousand subscribers. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Now, Chris, we've gotten some a bit of a controversy in our recent videos because of what we've been saying about Santi. It is true, Santi's been dropping in form, I guess, in 2024. But we just saw against PSV, he just had a masterclass performance, scoring 2 goals, 1 assist in the Dutch Super Cup. And this is exactly what we mean when we say he has to leave Feyenoord because he's 23 years old. He's already been there for 2 years. I don't think he could afford to stay another year at Feyenoord.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think Santi Gimenez, in my opinion, is already too good for that league. And I know people were going crazy, like, oh, how is he too good for that league and whatnot. But the reality is, like, what more can he prove? Like, Feyenoord, let's be honest. If you guys go look at Feyenoord, like, before he got there, like, the previous 20 years, they're not a team that's winning titles every year. Like, Santi Gimenez, when they won the title in his first season, that was like only their second title in 25 years or something like that. So he's already won the league. He's won, like, I think the Super Cup, the Dutch Cup, whatever. He's already won all 3 domestic trophies. He broke Luis Suarez's record for most goals in a calendar year in the Eredivisie, a goal that stood for since 2009. To be honest, like, what more does he need to prove? Like, he has over 50 goals.
51 now.
Yeah, 51 goals now. Better than a goal every other game ratio. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if he stayed. Like, it wouldn't be the worst thing. I'd be like, okay, whatever. He's staying at Feyenoord. But the thing is, I just don't think the risk reward is, like, worth it because he could have another amazing season this year, like an incredible season. But, like, how much is that really going to, like, improve his stock? Like, he's already proven it in the Dutch league. Like, him doing it again is like, okay, like, what more did another team learn, or what more did we learn about him? We already know we can destroy this league. I just don't see, like, what more he can gain from being here. In the contrary, you're risking, I don't know, like, he might drop off in form, or like you might not get the same offers next year as this year. I don't know, like, I just don't see, like, the risk reward being there. And there's another thing also I think is very, very key. Santi Gimenez, I think, is ready to move to another league. But here's the thing. I think he can't afford to wait until next summer for this simple reason. Because let's just say he goes to the Prem or the Bundesliga or Serie A or La Liga, right? One of those big leagues. He might need a year to adjust. Like, he might get there. He might struggle his first year. He might not be an automatic starter like how he is at Feyenoord. So the thing is, like, that's why, like, it's perfect 2 years out of the World Cup. Like, maybe this year he goes to, like, I'm just going to throw a team out there, like Tottenham or something. But maybe at Tottenham, he struggles his whole first season, but at least he has that year to adapt. That way, his second season, the year before the World Cup, he can like have a breakout season, and he had already been a year under that system, a year in that league, like a year to adapt, and then before he has a breakout year, and he'll head into the World Cup most likely in good form. But if he goes next summer, he doesn't have that luxury of, like, oh, like, I have a year to adapt. He doesn't have that luxury. Because if he struggles all year, you're not going to get the best Santi Gimenez at the World Cup. For me, that's another reason why I think he can't afford to stay. Like, he doesn't really have much else to prove. His value might not be any, like, higher a year from now than what it is now. And like I said, I just think he has more of an adaptation period if he goes now than waiting another year.
I think another reason why I think he should leave is Feyenoord has another manager. The manager that made Santi Gimenez, like, have these great seasons for them, he's now at Liverpool. And Feyenoord, I think, has his new upcoming striker, I think he's Japanese, that he could be fighting Santi for his spot. Yes, that could benefit Santi. It could push him to be better, but he's not guaranteed to be a starter right now, to be honest. Like you just said, I think that's pretty spot on. If he leaves right now, he'd have that luxury to have 2 years before the World Cup of adjusting to a different team, going into the World Cup in the proper form he needs. But I guess one thing we have to bring up is Nottingham Forest. I think it's rumored that they're going to send an offer. Don't know how much the offer would be yet. But do you think him going to the Premier League to a bottom team, to be honest, Nottingham Forest will be a bottom club team in the Prem next year. Do you think he's better off going there for a high price than staying at Feyenoord another year?
I do think it is better. I'm not gonna pretend and be like, oh my god, Nottingham Forest is the best team in the world or like it's amazing and all that. Especially like when we've heard names like Atletico, Tottenham, even Real Madrid at one point we were like thinking of Chelsea. Like we've heard all these names. So for him to go to Nottingham Forest would be like kind of like not disappointing, but it'd be like it's definitely not the same feeling as if he was going to like a very well known like team that's competing in the Champions League every year. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, I still do think that is better than staying at Feyenoord because again, you're gonna be in the Premier League now. Now, like yes, you won't be playing Champions League for sure, but let's be honest, like Feyenoord's the type of team that at best they're making the round of 16, so they're probably only going to play like 6 to 8 games, like Champions League. But instead, if he's in the Prem, even with Nottingham Forest, you're going to play Man City at least 2 times, Man United at least 2 times, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, even Aston Villa, Newcastle, all these teams at least 2 times a year, maybe more, like depending on how far you go in like the domestic cups. That for me is like great competition, especially like if they were to buy him for a high price. They're not going to buy him just to bench him. Like he'd be pretty much almost a starter day one. Yeah, I would not see that as a bad option. And to be honest with you, that'd be again great competition where he can grow. And him already being in the Prem, that could just springboard him to like a better Prem team. You see that all the time. Like the top teams in the Prem, they always like fishing the best players from the bottom half of the table teams. Like it happens all the time. So if Santi Jimenez has like 1 or 2 good seasons at Nottingham Forest, you never know. Like Arsenal maybe one day might come calling for him when he's 25, 26, entering his prime, and to spend his prime years at one of those top clubs. You never know. So I still do think it is an upgrade and a very good move from Feyenoord, but it's not like it's not like the ideal move that we were probably all thinking. But I would still think it's a good one.
I won't be honest. I think I'd prefer Santi to stay at Feyenoord than to go to Nottingham Forest. I think Nottingham Forest will be one of those teams that get relegated next year, so that would hurt him. That would hurt him. As like, we make fun of all these American players like Brendan Aronson, McKinney for getting relegated with Leeds, and I don't want that happening to Santi. And also, Nottingham Forest has a lot of strikers. They have Emmanuel Dennis. They have, I think his name is Awoniwi. He's like a Nigerian striker. He was very good for them last year. And they have Chris Wood. He has a lot of Premier League experience, so I don't think Santi would immediately slot in. He's going to have to work for it, obviously. So I think him staying at Feyenoord, racking up another 20 goals, having some good games in European competitions, I think that would benefit him more than playing for Nottingham Forest, who will most likely have a terrible season again. I think the last question I have for you before we end the video is, realistically, what do you think Santi Jimenez's price tag is right now? How much do you think he should transfer to if he were to transfer to a bigger club?
I think he's definitely. I mean, obviously, we know attackers are way more expensive than any other position, especially in today's market. I think he's worth at least 40 million. If someone pays 55, I wouldn't think that's ridiculous either. But like, I would say like around 40 million, in my opinion. If I had to think of an ideal landing spot, it would be Tottenham, but I don't know if the interest is still there. But I'm hoping he leaves. You're saying you hope he leaves too, but just not the Nottingham Forest, but. Yeah.
I think Tottenham is the only spot right now, to be honest. They really need a striker like him right now, and the other teams he was linked to, AC Milan, have gone Morata. Atletico Madrid had just signed Sorloth and Julian Alvarez, so I think that's his only last hope. But I think that was it for today's episode. Make sure to like if you haven't already. Stay tuned for the next week's episode. Hopefully, Santi Jimenez moves to a bigger team this summer, because that would just benefit Mexico very highly. And subscribe to enter the jersey giveaways. It will be happening very soon. So catch you guys next time.